Welcome to Harare, Zimbabwe. I'm staying at the beautiful York Lodge just east of downtown in this leafy oasis, my base of operations for tracking down the Air Zimbabwe 737-200. To catch you up, the 737 was grounded for about 6 months but started flying again in May, so I made a plan to come down here and catch a flight on it, because who knows how much longer it'll be flying for. But as we'll come to find out, Air Zimbabwe often has different plans to yours. So I've arrived in Zimbabwe to Harare, to this beautiful place, staying at the York Lodge, which is just to the east of the city center, not far at all. But what a beautiful oasis in Harare this is. And it's the place from which I'm going to plan out my attempt to get on the 737-200. Now, interestingly, on the schedules, it shows as a 737 tomorrow on the flight from Harare to Dar es Salaam and back. But on Air Zimbabwe's website, it says ERJ 145. And we know from some other videos on YouTube that that flight is prone to aircraft swaps as well. Another problem with that one is, if I try to book the round trip, Harare, Dar es Salaam, Harare, obviously same plane that turns around, I can't book it. I could book them as one ways, but it feels a little risky and like something that wouldn't go down too well, flying to Tanzania on 2 one-way tickets, just going and getting back on the same plane. That could go wrong. I need to be back in Zimbabwe in order to continue the rest of this adventure, which is going to include South Africa and Mozambique. And it looks like for now in all the schedules, Victoria Falls for Friday is still a 737-200. And that's the one that goes via Bulawayo. So there are 2 short segments, I'd guess maybe 40 minutes each. So I think that's the right plan of attack. Hello and good morning from Harare. Woken up here with some interesting twists and drama. I went in just to see that the flight for tomorrow to Victoria Falls was still showing as a 737-200, and that was the plan, to take that flight. It seems to have been switched to a direct flight to VFA with the ERJ. I haven't seen the 737 do anything on tracking since the 28th, so that's 3 or 4 days now. So we don't know. Where is the 737? What is it doing? Is it just ERJs from now on? Have I just missed the 737? What a plot twist. This I wasn't expecting. So I managed to get the contact of the chief pilot of the 737. It turns out he's in Lilongwe, as is the 737-200. It's gone there on a presidential visit, probably last minute, so that's why the 737 is not operating flights today and tomorrow, commercially. It's in Malawi, doing a little bit of detective work thanks to some super helpful people, both outside and inside the airline. So far, I've been amazed at how helpful people are. Once you start getting in touch with Zimbabweans, people that work with the airline or know people at the airline, everybody rushes to help. The bad news, of course, is that means I can't fly the 737 tomorrow. So now what I'm trying to do is find out what the plan is for Saturday. Is it rostered on any commercial flights? Might it be? Is there a way that I can see it if it's not flying that day? It's at the same time kind of disappointing and also kind of exciting to have to figure out a new plan and, make the best of a situation. I managed to get in contact with someone at operations in Air Zimbabwe, and he said that it won't be confirmed whether the 737 is flying until tomorrow. And tomorrow is when I should be flying to Victoria Falls, and I'm hearing some sounds from the foliage behind me. I should probably keep an eye on things like that. When you're in Africa, you need to be a little bit more aware. I'm so used to being in Sweden, where almost nothing in the natural world can kill you. I mean, I guess a moose could kill you, but it's probably not gonna. While I wait for confirmation from Air Zimbabwe about the 737's plans over the next few days, I head out for a drive around Harare. Unfortunately, by the end of the day, I still don't have confirmation of what's happening with the plane. It's morning 2 in Harare. I spent most of yesterday either on WhatsApp, calls and texts with various people at Air Zimbabwe and surrounding it. The problem is, in a lot of cases, it seems like Air Zimbabwe doesn't really know what's going on. It's now Friday morning, and the 737-200 is definitely not flying today to Victoria Falls, but it may fly tomorrow, Saturday, to Dar es Salaam. They still don't know for sure. The plane is due back from its presidential trip this evening, but it's completely undecided whether it does a commercial flight tomorrow. So if it's just not flying at all in the next couple of days, the obvious thing would be to take the ERJ to Victoria Falls and then proceed with the rest of my plan and maybe come back here once I know when it's actually flying. If there's a good chance it's flying Saturday, I shouldn't go to Victoria Falls today because it might put me there with inability to get back in time. This is the situation. I have about an hour, maybe an hour and a half before I have to decide because the taxis come in and take me to the airport. Currently booked to go to the airport at 9 a.m. It's about 7:30. So hopefully I hear back from them soon. 11th hour, I found out that the 737 will not be flying this weekend at all. I had just canceled my taxi to the airport, but then because the 737 won't be flying, it makes sense to take this one as planned to Victoria Falls and see what happens next. For now, the plan is to go on to Johannesburg tomorrow with FastJet. Today we'll try out Air Zimbabwe's ERJ 145. That should be interesting, even though it's no 737. So after that, we'll evaluate. I'm gonna see what's happening, whether the 737 will fly at all next week, see what I can do. For now, let's head to Harare Airport. For a minute, I was wondering if there would be any flights or passengers at all at this domestic terminal, but luckily a few others have shown up, and we seem to be in a queue for the unmanned Air Zimbabwe desk. So in theory, I guess it's going to start happening soon. Some check-in, some actual airport operations.
No, this is not an A380 plane. This is the smaller one. Much smaller one. A380, that's a Heathrow to Dubai.
Alright, the ERJ finally showed up. And we can hear its APU pretty loud here. It's just right out there. It seems it came in from Johannesburg. They bus the international arriving passengers over to immigration at the international side, and then we board right here, which is ideal. You get to walk right up to the plane. It looks beautiful, I have to say. That color scheme is gorgeous, and the Embraer is just beautiful as well. Really nice. This plane is gorgeous and really clean from the outside. Hi. Hello. The best seat in the house, 19A, right by the engine, the one that no one else wants, so it's pretty easy to get as long as no one's been randomly assigned it. Of course, who in their right mind would want to sit back here next to the screaming engine and the labs? Just
ladies and gentlemen from the flight,
perfect combo.
Also speaking on behalf of Air Zimbabwe, Captain and the rest of the operating crew, it's my pleasure to welcome you now service 322 to Victoria Falls this morning. Introducing your crew, taking care of your comfort and safety in hands of Chaliwa. We have for you engineer from Gaikut on board. With me in front is Captain Ronald Kadze, and my name is George Bazima. Just completing our boarding procedures. We'll be soon closing the door, starting engines, taking off our runway 23 in a south-westerly direction. Series of right turns and setting course for Victoria Falls, climbing to 34,000 feet above sea level.
Also, these are these old school seats that are really nicely padded. This is like a very comfortable headrest. Totally unnecessary for an hour's flight, but just so nice. And no one behind me. Does it recline? Maybe it's permanently reclined already. I don't know. I have to investigate.
Air Zimbabwe, Captain Gazi, nesebenzi zonke, salabongela kulendi kaMthina. Sizadisa ukukhona elilodwa sisiya eVictoria Falls. Sizaba siphezulu kwamanyathelo angu-34,000. Sinifisela uhambo oluhle, ngiyabonga.
Two doors at the front. As an additional safety measure, this aircraft has flown level emergency luminous lighting, which is visible in dark conditions. If there is a loss of electrical power, other emergency lights will come on. Device in case of an emergency landing on water. Remove it and take it with you. For details on the operation of the emergency exit, study the safety card located in the seat pocket in front of you. Always observe the no smoking and fasten seatbelt signs when they are illuminated. Please note that smoking is not permitted on all our flights. The use of some personal electronic devices. Thank you for choosing to fly in Zimbabwe.
I'm amazed they offer a pretty decent food and drink service on this quick hour-long flight, including sandwiches. They may not be the best sandwiches in history, but I appreciate the gesture. European airlines could learn a thing or two. I'm still determined to catch this 737. Luckily, I'm now in touch with just about everyone who works at Air Zimbabwe on WhatsApp. Let's see how we can pull it off, whether it's now or a little bit later.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Enjoy your stay. Thank you.
Okay, what a nice flight with Air Zimbabwe. I mean, it wasn't the 737, it was the ERJ. You know, it seems to be a long-held tradition for those of us making videos, loving airplanes, to come down here, try to get on the 737-200 and end up on an ERJ. Does it really even exist? It looks amazing in the photos. I would love to just to see it in person on the tarmac. I would be thrilled. But in any case, on the ERJ, it was such a nice flight, really friendly service, just like in every place I've been in Zimbabwe, just smiles, helpful, good vibes. What a privilege it is to be able to do this sort of thing and to fly Air Zimbabwe for the first time in a totally new part of the world for me. In the meantime, we'll catch you on the next one. Fast jet to Johannesburg tomorrow, another ERJ. In Victoria Falls, for Flight Radar 24, I'm Gabriel Leigh.